4 years ago, it was Sarah Palin debating Joe Biden.
All you got to do is go down Union Street with me in Wilmington and go to Katie's restaurant or walk into Home Depot with me where I spend a lot of time, and you ask anybody in there whether or not the economic and foreign policy of this administration has made them better off in the last 8 years.
Say it ain't so, Joe. There you go again, pointing backwards again, though. You prefaced your whole comment with the Bush administration. Now, doggone it, let's look ahead and tell Americans what we have to plan to do for them in the future.
All right, Governor Palin joins us now from Scottsdale, Arizona. First of all, what are Vice President Biden's weak points in a debate?
Oh, my buddy Joe Biden, you mean besides his penchant for just making stuff up? I think he's kind of known for some of that. But to speak of someone's weaknesses, let me talk about his strengths. His strengths would be his innate ability, it seems, to say the wrong thing at just the right time. And that really helps to illustrate and illuminate his boss, Obama's, very odd decisions and policies and judgments. So
all right, but you got to get him there.
Joe Biden's.
If you want to go into Gaffville, you got to get him into that area. Now, when you were preparing to debate,
you don't have to say it's natural. It's an age. It's been fundamental over these 4 decades of Joe Biden's involvement in the political arena.
He didn't make that many gaffes with you. I mean, the headline out of the Palin and Biden debate was that you held your own. That was the headline. It wasn't that Biden screwed up. Now, when you were preparing to debate him, Governor, did they say, look, this is how you go about it, this is how you get Joe Biden off track? Because, look, he's got stuff that he's going to say, he's been preparing, you prepared, Ryan has been preparing. How do you get him out of his game? How do you get him off track?
Well, that wasn't my goal, was to get anybody off track during my VP run on the Republican ticket 4 years. In fact, the strategy handed me by the McCain campaign was a set of note cards, probably 6 inches high, a note card saying, here, memorize these. And it all had to do with, for the most part, foreign policy issues which were not top of the ticket in terms of issues at the time. It was the economy. We should have talked more about the economy and how Barack Obama would lessen opportunities for economic recovery at the time. Instead, I was asked to memorize a whole lot of things about foreign policy that weren't as relevant in the voters' minds as the economy would. So, looked at the note cards over a number of days, and finally realizing how inconsistent and a bit convoluted some of the answers were, you know, at some point the candidate just has to kind of check those and decide, I will stand on my own record, my own philosophy, my own principles, making sure that they coincide with the top of the ticket's views, and we'll go from there in a debate.
So you went rogue and you threw the cards away and just were yourself, and that's what happened. Now tonight, the vice president is going to try to throw, and I'm sure he did this to you. And let me ask you that question first. You were considered a neophyte, obviously, governor of Alaska, now in the national stage, very similar to Ryan. He's the first time he's really had this kind of scrutiny. Did Biden try to shake you? Do you remember if he tried to intimidate you at all?
No, I don't think so. Paul Ryan, a little bit different scenario. You know, he's had his say in Congress, and you know, he will be explaining, I'm sure, what some of the congressional decisions that have been made that have perhaps contributed to some of the problems. But then again, Joe Biden was in the Senate for decades, and he'll have to explain some of his past records too, as a member of the legislative branch that have helped create some economic woes in our country and create an burdensome and overbearing federal government in our lives.
We know there's going to be a lot of policy.
Both individuals will have to talk about policies and their past records. Okay,
but when you walk out in a debate, one of the first things you said was, can I call you Joe? Remember that? Can I call you Joe? It was a little disarmed him a little bit. And, you know, of course, you can call me Joe, that kind of thing. A little personal touch, and I thought that was wise of you to do it. You know, you basically kind of got out of the policy, can I call you Joe? And just see how he's react. I expect some of that tonight. The thing's going to be Medicare. I'll tell you right now, Biden's going to come out and he's going to try to hang Ryan with Medicare. That's what he's going to try to do. He's going to try to say, look, you want to hurt the seniors, you want to hurt all the people. And Ryan has got to reply in a way that's not too pinheady, is not too much policy. He's got to say something that puts him on the offense, puts Ryan on the offense. So I expect that to be a big deal tonight. Do you think Medicare is going to be a big deal?
It'll be a big deal, but what Joe Biden will do, which I think is kind of stereotypical of all Democrats, he'll play on emotions instead of the data, the facts, the numbers that speak for themselves. What Paul Ryan and the Republicans presents will be this fact, Bill, that if you want Medicare to continue, if you want Social Security to continue, if you want these safety nets in our society, then we have to make sure that we have a budget that is balanced,
you have to sell
that will allow these programs to not become bankrupt.
Absolutely.
And Joe Biden will try to skip all that.
But you have to sell it. See, Ryan's got to sell it, and he's got to sell it in a way that puts the vice president on the defense. And it's a tactical game. It's like a chess game. Did you enjoy that debate? Last question. Was that fun for you to do that? And how did you feel immediately afterward? Relieved? How did you feel?
I loved the debate, and I wish that we would have had more than one. Remember, at the time, Bill, I had a 16-week-old baby when I jumped on the national scene, and I had a son, my oldest, who was deployed in Iraq at the time. So I was able to keep things in perspective, coming from a personal point of view that kept things, again, in perspective, knowing what really mattered and knowing how important it was that we articulate what our solutions were going to be for that future generation. You know,
nervous? Were you nervous out there?
It still is my life.
Were you nervous?
No, not
you weren't nervous
because,
not at all?
Did I look nervous?
No.
You know what you need to do? Read my book, Going Rogue, because I explained all that background stuff about the VP debate, and there are some hilarious anecdotes in there that I think talk about what it was like to prepare and how wonderful it was to have wonderful people around me in the vice presidential debate, and those good people, many whom are still by my side. It was some good recollections in the book.
All right, Governor, thanks for helping us out.